Have you ever done this? You get your first real job. You're making, let's say, $52,000 a year, and you think, okay, I need to start investing immediately. So you open a brokerage account, you buy $300 worth of an S&P 500 ETF. You feel responsible, productive, financially mature, and then, a year later, your salary goes up by $4,000 because you got promoted. And somehow that raise feels normal, expected, not a big deal. But that $300 investment, that felt like you were building wealth. Here's the uncomfortable truth. That promotion you barely celebrated probably did more for your lifetime wealth than your first 3 years of investing, and almost nobody explains that. Look, here's the thing. My name's Ned, and I spend way too much time thinking about income growth, investing psychology, and why people obsess over the wrong financial milestones. If you're someone who's focused on picking the right stocks, optimizing your Roth IRA, or trying to start early but still feel stuck financially, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we're talking about a money rule schools never explain. Your first promotion matters more than your first investment. And if you don't understand why, you'll spend years optimizing the wrong lever. Challenge the common belief early. We've been taught something that sounds smart. Start investing early. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Time in the market beats timing the market. And look, that's all true. But here's what most people don't realize. You cannot compound what you don't earn. Income is the engine. Investments are the turbocharger. And too many people are obsessing over the turbocharger when the engine is weak. Let's say you invest $300 a month at age 23. That's $3,600 a year. Assume a 7% average annual return, which is roughly the long-term historical average of the S&P 500 after inflation. After 10 years, you'll have about $50,000 to $55,000. That's good. That's responsible. Now, let's compare that to something else. Let's say instead of focusing all your energy on investments, you aggressively pursued skill building 23-24 and career growth and landed a promotion that increased your salary from $52,000 to $62,000. That's a $10,000 raise. Even after taxes, maybe you take home an extra $7,000. That's almost double what you were investing annually. And here's what gets wild. If you simply invest the raise, now you're investing $10,000 a year instead of $3,600. The compounding effect doesn't just increase, it explodes. According to research from the Federal Reserve, lifetime earnings differences between workers who consistently earn promotions versus those who plateau early can exceed $1 million over a 30 to 40-year career. Not because of better stock picking, because of career trajectory. Meanwhile, Vanguard data shows the biggest determinant of long-term portfolio size isn't investment selection, it's contribution rate. Translation: how much you invest matters more than what you invest in, and how much you invest depends on your income. Schools love teaching about compound interest. They show you the famous chart. If you invest $5,000 a year from 22 to 65 at 8%, you'll have over $1 million. Cool. But they rarely teach you how to negotiate your salary, position yourself for promotion, increase your market value, switch companies strategically. Because talking about investing is safe. Talking about income power is uncomfortable. It requires risk, confrontation, skill, confidence. Here's why this happens. Investing feels productive. It's controlled, clean, predictable. You can do it alone. Pursuing a promotion, though, that requires visibility. It requires asking. It requires risking rejection. Humans prefer safe progress over uncertain leaps, so we tweak our portfolios instead of upgrading ourselves. Net, investing early still matters. You can't get time back. You're right, but here's the nuance. Your first 5 years in the workforce are not defined by portfolio returns. They're defined by income trajectory. If you increase your income from $50,000 to $65,000 to $80,000 by age 30 versus staying at $50,000 to $55,000 to $58,000, the difference in lifetime investing power is enormous. Let's do simple math. Scenario A, you earn $55,000 and invest 10%. That's $5,500 a year. Scenario B, you earn $80,000 and invest 15%. That's $12,000 a year.
Over 30 years at 7%, scenario A ends around $520,000 to $600,000. Scenario B ends around $1.2 million to $1.4 million. Same market, different income engine. Your first promotion changes your identity. It shifts you from entry-level employee to someone who moves upward. That identity shift compounds psychologically. You negotiate differently, you apply for better roles, you expect growth. This is where it gets really interesting. Research from behavioral economists shows that early career momentum strongly predicts future wage growth. Success builds self-perception. Self-perception builds behavior. Behavior builds income. Income builds wealth. The snowball effect. Let's walk through a realistic scenario. You're 24, you make $52,000. You get promoted to $62,000. 2 years later, you leverage that new title and switch companies for $75,000. 3 years later, you're at $90,000. Instead of a 3% annual raise, you created 70% growth in 5 years. If you invest just the difference between $52,000 and $90,000, that $38,000 gap, even partially, that's transformative. And here's the wild part. Most people never aggressively pursue that first leap. They wait. They assume loyalty equals reward. They confuse comfort with security. Your first promotion tells the market, this person adds more value than before. That signal increases your bargaining power. In labor economics, wage growth isn't linear, it's stepwise. You jump levels. Each jump resets your baseline, and future raises compound off that higher base. A 5% raise on $90,000 is $4,500. A 5% raise on $50,000 is $2,500. The gap widens every year. Think of your career like a video game. Investing is collecting coins. Promotions are leveling up. You can grind coins at level 1 all day, or you can level up, and suddenly every coin is worth more. Most people grind coins. Few level up intentionally. Let's be honest. Pursuing a promotion means asking for feedback, accepting criticism, taking on responsibility, risking failure. Buying an ETF doesn't judge you. A manager does. So we choose the emotionally easier route and then wonder why we feel stuck. Let's make this practical. 1. Identify promotion criteria. Ask your manager directly, what would I need to demonstrate to be promoted in the next 12 months? Most people never ask this question. 2. Document measurable wins. Promotions follow value. Track numbers. Revenue increased, costs reduced, efficiency improved. 3. Increase skill leverage. Focus on high-income skills, communication, negotiation, technical expertise, leadership. According to data from LinkedIn's workforce reports, skills gaps are one of the largest drivers of wage increases. 4. Be willing to switch companies. Research shows switching employers often leads to wage increases of 10 to 20% compared to 3 to 5% for internal raises. Loyalty is admirable, but loyalty without leverage is expensive. 5. Invest the raise immediately. Here's the rule. Live on your old salary, invest the raise. That's how you combine promotion and compounding. Let me be clear, you should still invest early. Even $100 a month builds the habit, but the habit isn't the wealth driver. The driver is increasing what you can invest. That's the part schools never explain. I once knew someone who obsessed over picking the perfect stocks, spent hours researching, argued about ETFs, checked markets daily, but avoided asking for a raise for 3 years. In that same time, another person focused on certifications, performance, and visibility. 3 years later, the investor had a $12,000 portfolio. The career climber had doubled their salary. Guess who built wealth faster after that? Here's what most people don't realize. Early career income growth has a disproportionate impact because it compounds for decades. An extra $10,000 at age 25 invested for 40 years at 7% becomes roughly $150,000. But if that $10,000 increase becomes permanent salary growth, you don't just invest it once, you invest it every year. That's exponential leverage. Look, your first investment builds discipline. Your first promotion builds power. One makes you feel responsible. The other changes your trajectory. And if you want real financial freedom, you need both. But in the early years, focus on becoming more valuable before you obsess over becoming more diversified. Increase your income engine, then attach compounding to it. That's how wealth actually accelerates. If this changed how you think about investing versus income, hit the like button. It tells the algorithm this is the kind of conversation more people need to hear. Subscribe if you want more honest breakdowns of money, psychology, and financial strategy that actually move the needle. And in the comments, tell me, are you currently focused more on investing or increasing your income? Because that answer might explain everything. I'll see you in the next one.